We are winding down our summer in Rome, reading of Paul's letter to the Romans, and I hope it's given you the opportunity to understand Paul a little better, as well as think about the origins of many of our Christian doctrines that originate in his letters to the members of the early church. We've spoken a whole lot in worship and Bible study about our scriptures and how they encourage us to be the best version of ourselves that we can possibly be. Jesus offered his healing and encouragement to those people who sought him out earnestly and honestly. He told them that it was their belief in his power to transform them that made them well and made them complete. On the other hand, he also reserved his harshest rebuke to those who misused whatever was under their power, whether that be money or talents, property, people's trust, or even other people. Suppressing another person's ability to survive and thrive, and for them to be the best version of themselves that they could possibly be, suppressing that received his condemnation, along with his rebuke to those who misrepresent themselves, aka number 9 on the top 10, thou shalt not bear false witness, aka lying, aka saying one thing and doing another, aka hypocrisy. Jesus ignores a lot of annoying things about the people, but he saves his focused judgment for those who are intentionally inauthentic. Paul wrote, "Don't hesitate to be enthusiastic. Be on fire with the Spirit. Be happy for those who are happy, and cry with those who are crying. Remove status and comparisons and misrepresentation from your everyday thinking. When we shine our best light, we show a way of hope for ourselves and for others. And any who choose to remain outside of that light will simply fade away. By you shining and you being true and authentic, by you remaining loving and kind, you heap the wrath of God upon those who choose not to be those things. Our good gets pulled off course when evil convinces us that there is not enough, or that we are not enough, or that difference or the unknown can hurt us. You are the only power in the world that is able to stop you from being you. On the other hand, there is no other power in the world that can keep you from being you. You gotta be a friend to yourself, friends. Now, in the scriptures, there are sinners and there are righteous people. What's funny is that the whole gospel is full of stories of Jesus turning these descriptions of people upside down. He turns the sinners into saints. He welcomes the outcast into the community. He reaches out and physically touches those who are deemed untouchable. And he makes the unworthy worthy. He physically draws a line in the sand between those whose righteousness was hid under a rock, and he helps bring it to light, and those whose righteousness was created through selfish means, and therefore it only continues to exist to the degree that they can keep juggling the false pretenses that hold artificial righteousness together. Last Thursday in our study, we talked about the Passover meal and how it became the Last Supper for Jesus and then the sacrament of communion as we know it today. In a hosted meal in the land and time of Jesus, The host and the guests would dine at a low, U-shaped table. The host sat in the middle of the U, and the guests reclined either to his right or left in the order of most important to least important. If you ever wonder why Leonardo da Vinci's painting of the Last Supper has everyone on one side of the table, it's because Jesus had made reservations for 25 people, and half of them didn't show up. Or it was possibly because that was the perspective of the servers as they came into the center of the U to refill the serving plates and the wine glasses. This is a fascinating historical and cultural concept for us to understand. The setting also helps explain one of his lessons from earlier in the gospel. Jesus was instructing his disciples in how it was better to presume the position at the end of the table, the lowest place, and then have the host invite you to move up to a more prominent position. That was better. That was far better, he said, than to presume your position next to the host in the place of highest honor, only to have the host ask you to move down the table to a position of less honor. I love that we use the word woke today. It describes people who have a higher emotional intelligence, people willing to be honest and unafraid to name the imbalances of justice, even if it includes their place in it. And they're also willing to name the privileges given to those of certain ethnicity, gender, wealth, orientation, or age. When Jesus spoke to his followers about understanding their intrinsic and unique value, as well as the value of others, as well as those values that remain hidden because our society often chooses inauthenticity over authenticity, Jesus would just say to them, "Wake up. Wake up." There's a saying that I first heard from a middle school-aged camper when I was a young adult-aged camp counselor. I've since heard it again and again in a variety of forms attributed to a variety of different impressive people. But the saying, as I heard it for the first time, went this way: "I'd rather people hate me for who I am than love me for being someone I'm not." If we are to believe in God and follow Christ and hope to be part of a new creation here on earth, one of the simplest and hardest things for each of us to do is to become ourselves. May God grant us the grace in which to do so.